I'm reading from Miles' autobiography, Miles Davis's autobiography, which is just a wonderful read. And just a little preamble. At this point, it's 1987. He's a sort of eminent presence in jazz. And him and his old lady, Cicely Tyson, go to the White House to be at an event that's celebrating Ray Charles. Reagan was nice to us, respectful and everything, but Nancy is the one who has the charm between those two. She seemed like a warm person. She greeted me warmly and I kissed her hand. She liked that. Then we met Vice President Bush and his wife, and I didn't kiss her hand. When Cicely asked me why I didn't kiss Barbara Bush's hand, I told her I thought she was George's mother. Cicely looked at me like she thought I was crazy. But I don't know those people. I don't keep up with them, and they don't know me either. Cicely keeps up with that kind of shit, and it's important to her, but not to me. Hell, here these people are giving a lifetime award to Ray Charles, and most of them don't even know who the fuck he was. On the way to the dinner at the White House, I rode in a limousine with Willie Mays, me, Willie and Cicely, and Fred Astaire-Widill, and Fred McMurray and his wife, I think. When we got into the car, one of the white women said, "Miles, the limo driver says he likes the way you sing, and he's got all your records." Right away, I was mad. So I looked at Cicely and says under my breath, "Cicely, why do you bring me down here to get insulted like this?" She didn't say nothing, just looked straight ahead with that plastic grin on her face. Billy D. Williams was also in the car with us. So Billy, Willie, and me started having some fun by talking that black shit that black men talk, you know. But this was embarrassing Cicely. Fred McMurray's sitting there in the front of the limo. He's real sick, almost can't walk. The two white women are in the back with us, right? So one of them turns to me and says, "Miles, I know your mammy's proud of you coming down here to meet the president." Everything in the car got quiet, real quiet. I know everybody was thinking to themselves, of all these motherfuckers to say this to, why did she say this to Miles? They were just waiting for me to go off on this old-ass broad. I turned to her and I said, "Listen, my mother ain't no motherfucking mammy. You hear what I'm telling you? The word is out of style and people don't use it anymore. My mother was more elegant and proper than you could ever be, and my father was a doctor. So don't you ever say anything like that to a black person anymore. You hear what I'm saying to you?" When I was telling her this, I never did raise my voice, but she knew what I was saying because I was looking at her in the fucking eyes, and she looked like and if looks could have killed, she would have been dead. She got the message and apologized. After that, I was silent. We got to the dinner given by the Secretary of State, and I'm at the table with Vice President Mondale's wife, Joan, Jerry Lewis, some antique dealer, and I think it was David Brinkley's wife, who was a real nice, hip, sweet woman, who knew what was happening. I'm dressed in the Japanese designer Koshin Sako's hip, long black waistcoat with tails. It had this red snake on the back, brimmed with white sweet sequins. I also had on two vests made by Koshin, one red and the other white broadcloth. And I had silver chains crossing this and some shiny black leather pants. When I went to the toilet to pee, everybody else is lined up with all this same old shit on, so they couldn't stand me. But one guy told me that he loved my outfit and asked, "Who did it for you?" I told him and he walked away pleased, but the rest of them uptight white men were madder than hell. There were only about 10 black people in the whole place, including the ones I mentioned before and Quincy Jones. I think Clarence Avon and his wife were there, and Lena Horne was there too. Maybe there were 20 black people there. At the table where I was sitting, a politician's wife said some silly shit about jazz like, "Are we supporting this art form just because it's from here in this country? And is it art in its truest form? Or are we just being blasé and ignoring jazz because it comes from here and not from Europe and it comes from black people?" This came out of the blue, and I don't like questions like that because they're just not questions from someone who's trying to sound intelligent. And in fact, they don't give a damn about it. I looked at her and I said, "What is it? Jazz time or something? Why do you ask me some shit like that?" So she said, "Well, you're a jazz musician, aren't you?" So I said, "I'm a musician, that's all." "Well then, you're a musician, you play music. Do you really want to know why jazz music isn't given the credit it needs in this country?" She said, "Yes, I do. Jazz is ignored here because the white man likes to win everything. White people like to see other white people win just like you do, and they can't win when it comes to jazz and the blues because black people created this. And so when we play in Europe, white people over there appreciate us because they know who did what, and they will admit it. But most white Americans won't." She looked at me and turned red and shit, and then she said, "Well, what have you done that's so important in your life? Why are you here? Now, I just hate shit like this coming from someone who's ignorant, but wants to be hip and has forced you into a situation where they're talking like in this manner. She brought this on herself, so then I said, well, I've changed music 5 or 6 times. So I guess that's what I've done, and I guess I don't believe in playing just white compositions. I looked at her real cold and said, now tell me, what have you done of any importance other than be white? And that ain't important to me, so tell me what your claim to fame is. She started to twitch and everything around her mouth. She couldn't even talk, she was so mad. There was a silence so thick you could cut it with a knife. Here's this woman who was supposedly from the hippest echelons of society talking like a fool. Man, it was depressing. Ray Charles was up there sitting with the president, and the president was looking around to see how we act. I felt sorry for him. Reagan just looked embarrassed. Thanks, Miles.